I like kind of brag on Michael Jordan here a little bit, and I think we were a similar ilk with the Jazz. I like where guys just tighten their belt up and say, you know what, let's go to work. We just got to get better. Yeah. We got to play harder. We got to play smarter instead of just, where's the grass greener? I'm going to go there and win a championship. Yep. I think it devalues that. You're not climbing the mountain, you're taking a helicopter to the top.
The speaker reflects on Michael Jordan's era and contrasts it with teams like the Utah Jazz, emphasizing a mentality built on toughness, loyalty, and self-reliance. John Stockton is highlighted as the embodiment of that mindset, particularly through a pointed remark in which he suggested that some stars were not truly climbing the mountain themselves, but were instead being taken to the top by a helicopter. This comment is presented as a subtle yet unmistakable critique of LeBron James. Unlike loud or attention-seeking critics, Stockton's words carry added weight because of his resume and character. 19 seasons with one franchise, 15,806 career assists, and a career defined by consistency without public complaints about teammates or circumstances. Coming from a player shaped by an era that valued perseverance and earning success the hard way, Stockton's criticism is framed as more than just old-school nostalgia. Instead, it is portrayed as a meaningful perspective that reopens the debate about LeBron's legacy and how greatness is defined across generations.
I think people around the league are looking like, yeah, you're LeBron, but you're not 27-year-old LeBron. You're not even 34-year-old LeBron. Like, you're an old man now who's dictating and destroying the Lakers because you want your son to play. And
the discussion centers on John Stockton's famous helicopter remark, which at first sounds like routine old-school criticism, but is actually meant to highlight a deeper cultural divide in basketball. When Stockton talks about climbing the mountain, he is referring to the Utah Jazz's long, grueling journey, years of battling alongside Karl Malone, repeatedly falling short against Michael Jordan, and returning each season without searching for an easier path. The Jazz stayed together, trusted their system, and embraced the grind rather than looking for shortcuts. That philosophy stands in sharp contrast to LeBron James's career arc. Whenever circumstances became difficult, LeBron changed situations, leaving Cleveland to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, returning to Cleveland with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, and later moving to Los Angeles to team up with Anthony Davis. Stockton's metaphor frames these moves as finding a new helicopter when the climb became too steep. The criticism is not simply about switching teams, but about the difference between building something slowly and assembling success quickly. From Stockton's perspective, how you win matters as much as winning itself. The Jazz built their contender through drafting, development, and shared culture, while many of LeBron's teams were formed rapidly through star signings and major trades. While LeBron's championships are undeniable, the argument suggests that legacy is shaped by process as well as results, especially once a player retires and the spotlight fades. Retirement, the speaker argues, is the true test of greatness. Michael Jordan's legacy is used as a comparison. Since stepping away, his mythology has only grown, with even his losses enhancing the story. LeBron's legacy, by contrast, is still being debated while he is active. Critics argue that his greatness leans heavily on longevity, volume, and cumulative statistics, which may lose some impact once the numbers stop increasing. Even milestones like becoming the all-time scoring leader are viewed differently when considered alongside extended prime years and the super team era. This debate ties into a broader authenticity issue in modern sports. Stockton represents an era defined by loyalty, grit, and simplicity, 19 seasons in Utah without chasing markets, rings, or media attention. LeBron, meanwhile, is portrayed as the face of a highly managed corporate version of stardom. Moments like the decision are seen as brand events rather than purely basketball choices, reinforcing the perception that his career has been carefully calculated rather than organically lived. That criticism intensifies with discussions around LeBron's influence beyond the court, including the situation involving his son, Bronny. Critics argue that LeBron's power helped smooth Bronny's path to the NBA, bypassing the traditional grind faced by most players. To them, this symbolizes the same helicopter mindset, using influence to remove obstacles rather than enduring them. LeBron's broader business empire, particularly his connection to clutch sports, further feeds this narrative. His influence is seen as extending into player movement, media narratives, and organizational decisions across the league. While this control has brought success, critics argue it comes at the cost of authenticity, distancing him from the raw, basketball-first identity embodied by players like Stockton. Ultimately, the argument circles back to Stockton's metaphor. Stockton never reached the championship summit, but his legacy remains secure because he committed fully to the climb. LeBron reached the top multiple times, yet critics believe his legacy may age differently because many see his path as easier or strategically engineered. The helicopter line becomes less of an insult and more of a warning. Greatness is remembered not just for achievements, but for character, sacrifice, and authenticity long after the noise fades.